Alright. And we already have a few people on here in the chat already. Since we already have them there, I will begin my intro. So, anyways, hey guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Ask the Chaos Protector Season 2, with my special guest today, the man behind the voice of Dr. Eggman himself, Mike Pollock.
How mildly exciting is that? Hi.
Indeed.
Anyways, as you guys already know, leave your questions to my guest here, and if you guys look at the description, please do not ask for any spoilers for, like, Sonic Prime or Frontiers. And please do not ask for any impressions unless he wants to do it. But anyways, my first question for you, Mike, is what got you into voice acting?
As a kid, I loved theater, I loved radio. And when it came time to choose a career in college and beyond, I started in radio because radio is a little more constant work-wise. You're at least in a job, on a 9-to-5 gig. You may not be working 9 to 5, but you're expected to show up every day if you're an air personality or doing production or something. And eventually I learned that, which I had already known, but radio is not always as stable as it looks. You can pretty much be fired for any reason. And after I had been fired for any reason, I decided, well, I've got this now character reel full of commercial wacky character voices that I've done. And I've got this acting experience. I can build a character demo reel and fall back on the dramatic arts, which I did.
Nice.
I work in radio myself, so I definitely felt that.
It's a fun yet challenging biz, and possibly not as fun as it used to be.
You're not wrong. Just look at how it is now. Here's an interesting question. Sunswift asks to Mike, what is the funniest role you did besides Dr. Eggman?
Well, they're all fun to me. Even if it's a deadly serious role, I will find some way to have fun while I'm doing it, because I love what I do. I'm trying to think if I can narrow down. Okay, here's something I will point at from the far past, but you may not be able to find it.
Right.
The Viva Pinata cartoon from 4Kids TV in the Fox box.
Wait, you were voicing one of the characters in that?
I was Langston Lickatoad in that.
Ooh. How did I not notice that?
And that was a very cleverly written show, if I do say so myself, and we had a lot of fun recording.
Oh my god.
And also as I guess a Go-Go Riki, in which I was Big Oriki on 4Kids, and its current spin-off of let's see, it was Gogoriki, now it's Kikoriki. I'm still playing the Carlin character, same character, and they revived that. Those are usually pretty clever too.
Wow. Ooh.
Impressive.
Agreed.
Maggie?
Alright. Here's another question, one from Princess AJ. She asks, did you ever hang out with your fellow VAs outside of work?
Yes and no. Most of the dub stuff that we did at 4Kids, for example, was recorded separately, so I would see people coming and going, but there wasn't really a lot of chance to hang out because I was coming in, they were going out, and there's, hi, I gotta go, you gotta stay, we gotta talk later. We would have cast parties and stuff, but generally we were all living our own separate lives, so there wasn't a lot of time or space to hang out.
I see.
So it's a solitary profession, but even when you're recording together for 4 hours, and then everybody's got to go.
Nice.
Makes sense. Especially with people with busy lives as well, outside of work, so.
Right.
Ooh. Here's a good question, like in regards to how you became Dr. Eggman. Someone asked, how did you and the cast meet up before Sonic Boom started?
Sonic Boom specifically?
I think
we had...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it's a multi-part question because there have been several casts that I have had the pleasure of being part of.
Right.
Sonic X, it started as the dub on 4Kids, and that was because the producers of Kirby Right Back At Ya
Right.
knew my work from Kirby,
Wait,
and
you were
they
part
were
of Kirby
producing
too?
Sonic X. I was the mayor and Samo the bartender, as well as some incidental characters.
I knew that, and you did a very nice job, by the way.
Thank you very much. So the guys from Kirby knew me, and they had gotten assigned to dub Sonic X as well, and they were very interested in having me audition for Dr. Eggman, which I did several times over until Sega was ultimately convinced. And then Sega has been nice enough to decide to keep me for the last, 18 years in various cartoons and games. With the most recent near complete recasting of 2010, that was all done remotely because it's all LA based. So I was still recording in New York and didn't meet most of my LA colleagues until about 2013 when we were starting work on Sonic Boom, and we got to all meet up in person in LA. They flew me out, nice little business trip thing. We workshopped the first episode. Then I got to fly back a couple more times. Most of the time, Sonic Boom still recorded remotely, but whenever we get to be together, tons of fun.
Nice.
And
I didn't even know you actually voiced the character in Kirby Right Back At You.
me neither.
And if you dive more deeply, I was Chef Shiitake, Kit Cosmos, and Iroh's dad, a little background character who recurred more often than not.
I know the
Line
Pokemon.
right there.
Yeah, I know as a Pokemon fan, like I also love that you were the narrator for the narrator for Pokemon as well, because like I grew up with that
Wait,
personally.
that was you?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I was the interim narrator.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The original
Okay.
guy, then there was me for a couple of years, and there was the original guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
God
yeah.
dang, dude.
Just keeping the seat warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
But I do remember that though, and like that was like I said, apology if I sound weird. That was like legit my childhood.
Alright.
And then I've done a bunch of incidental characters in Pokemon as well.
Nice.
So
Hey, so here's some good, interesting questions in regards to your voice acting. Someone asked, "What was your favorite scene with voicing Eggman?"
it's tough to pick favorites because I love doing what I do. But a
Right.
couple of standout moments on Sonic X, there was one moment where Eggman broke the fourth wall and took a phone call from a viewer, which is completely impossible on Sony levels. But
Yeah.
he broke character, answered the phone, and went, "Hello?" Just amused me. Near the end of the series, he has a little serious, dramatic moment with Everyone Hates Chris Thorndike. And that was a fun scene to play. And the entirety of Sonic Boom. Just laugh upon laugh.
Wow. And here's a question from Tavares LP. Yeah, so what is the most challenging voice you had to do in your career?
Any violent video game where I'm a character dying a very violent death.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because they are paying you big money to die in a big, loud way. So I die in a big, loud way.
And here's in regards to that from SSJ Blake. He asked, "What is it like working with the cast of Berserk?"
Well, again, Berserk was a dub. We recorded separately. So I recorded with a director and occasionally an engineer. And then everything was assembled later. So we had fun, me and the director, but there was no real cast interaction. Because dubs are like that.
All right.
Well, man, even for dubs, you do an amazing job as if you guys are all there. It's really
Thank you.
impressive.
Our skill is reading aloud without sounding like we're reading, and sometimes filling in the voices in our head that aren't there yet. So, thank you. I'm glad we can maintain the illusion.
Right. Right.
That's the spirit.
Honestly, I thought it was all done in the same area.
Yeah. That's how they do it in Japan, with everybody standing in a group watching a screen and dubbing it live to the existing animation. Americans find that less efficient, so we do it line by line, person by person.
All right. Ooh, so here's a question from True Blue Star. He asks, "To Mike, what is it like working with other voice actors like Roger Kirk Smith and such?"
A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. We get to record together. We're not always in the same room, but we're on the same internet connection at the same time, not unlike this type of call that we're having now.
Yeah.
And in between the lines, we have a lot of fun. I wish you could hear what ends up on the cutting room floor.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I can just imagine.
Agreed.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ooh. Here's a very good question. From Shay Keener. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. Hello, Mike. Where would you see yourself if you weren't a voice actor? That's actually a very good question.
Thank you. If radio still existed and still wanted me, I could go back to radio and have I would have a heck of a time. Radio might not have the heck of a time with me, but radio's a fun thing. And then I have my technical side as part of my leisure time, which sounds like work, and it would be work if I was being forced to do it. But I make my own personal podcasts and RSS feeds. I don't create them. I just assemble existing audio and make feeds out of them and make sure they can get delivered to me semi-automatically. So that brings me great joy, but only because nobody's paying me to do it, and it's not a requirement for work.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense. So.
If it had to be a job, it could, but fortunately right now, it's purely for fun, and I do it quite well, thank you.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, Sometimes you break from work, so, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, Some Swift is asked, I don't remember if this question was asked or not, but Some Swift just asked earlier, Mike, what is the single worst voice you had to do which put a strain on your, I don't know why they worded it like that, but like what voice has put like the most strain on your voice? I'm presuming is what they're trying to ask.
The most challenging, I want to say, it was the Just Cause game that I was in, because I started the session with a sore throat, and I realized that it was going to be a big screamy video game thing. So before the session, I took a moment and called my ear, nose, throat doctor's office and said, "Hi, are there any appointments available in about 3 hours when I'm done here? Because I just want to come right in when I'm all damaged." Right. And I did. And they determined, yeah, you strained it, take a break.
Ow.
Shut up for a couple of days, you'll be all good.
Emmett,
man.
Also, Emmett, please no asking anything about Sonic Prime or Frontiers.
Yeah. The future is always unknown to me. Fiction relies on the element of surprise, so no spoilers.
Yep.
Everyone just remember, please read the description. Right, and everyone please read the description, especially if you're just hopping into the interview. Please read the description and follow the rules. Also, I see a bit of an interesting question here. Let's see, from Princess AG, what are your thoughts on the character channel community? Have you watched any channels?
I tend not to, because there's a thing in the terms and conditions of most companies that they don't accept unsolicited ideas. So if any plot device or anything else that somebody else created somehow found its way into official media, and somebody could say, well, that's because Mike watched it and told Sega about it. Probably that's not the case, but I don't want to run that risk.
Right.
But that's why companies don't accept unsolicited materials, because if they do something that you sent and it's similar, and then you want to sue, and then it becomes a whole legal mess. So, no, I'm sorry.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense, man.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I guess things can be quite tricky when you're an official, voice actor.
Exactly.
Everybody loves the show, but forgets the business.
Right.
Yeah, that is very true.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, here's an interesting question from Doom, the Mean Queen. She asks, so Mike, I wonder, can you sing?
Yes. At least I think I can. If you go to my SoundCloud channel, it's a Mike on SoundCloud. I've got some song parodies, because one of the things I did when I was in radio in the various allied radio fields was I wrote song parodies, as that was part of my job. And I wrote over 1,000 of them over the course of the years that I was doing it. Didn't sing most of them, but some that needed specific character voices, they were nice enough to let me do the vocals. But on my SoundCloud, I recreated some of the ones I wrote before, singing them myself, and then also did a couple little bonus ones. There's a Dr. Eggman track or two. He sings Sonic the Hedgehog to the tune of Frosty the Snowman, which was a response to a tweet on the official Sonic account some years back.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that actually, if I remember correctly.
So I'll let you be the judge.
I mean, I think you sing good. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard bits here and there when you would sing. I mean, I know there was a part in Sonic Boom, I believe, when Eggman's cleaning up or something and you were singing. I was like,
Yep.
hey, that's pretty good.
Yep, I wrote the tune. Not that I get any composer credit, but the script said Eggman sings this part. Okay, here's the tune. Okay, whatever. Thank you.
Here's the question I've been wondering when it came to, like, how you made the Eggman voice. How hard was it to actually make, to create that voice that you've been doing for 18 years?
If you listen carefully to the first few episodes of Sonic X, you'll hear a bit of a progression, because I started as a voice match. They sent me clips of Dean Bristow and said, okay, we're auditioning for Dr. Eggman, and he sounds like this. Do an impression of this guy. So I went into the auditions. I'm Dean Bristow. Sonic.
Right.
And after the first few episodes, the producer and director came to me and said, we'd like you to add some more peaks and valleys to the voice, like the Martin Short Jiminy Glick character, who starts up way up high and then goes way down low. And that way we can have a little more room for comedy. So from then on, you'll hear that Dr. Eggman has a lot more peaks and valleys. And eventually just settled into a comfortable place in the throat, because it's still challenging, the gravelly bit. I can do it, but the yellier it gets, the more damaging it could get. So I found a somewhat happy medium, but you'll still find that there's a lot of peaks and valleys from episode maybe 5 onwards of Sonic X.
Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome.
it definitely works, so, and you pulled it off great. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like what you did would have worked perfectly well in my opinion. So like, I feel whatever you do works.
Right,
Right,
and having
that's
to see it evolve throughout the years, like in TV shows and games, it's amazing.
Thank you. And I have to play against the material, for example, the dreaded Sonic 06, a much more serious take, so I had to bring the delivery down to a much more serious place.
That had to been
Right,
hard for you right
To save
there.
the game itself, but that was beyond my control.
Right. Actually, that is one thing I like about your Eggman, actually, is that the voice can be pulled off in so many different, like basically he shows the emotion, you show the emotion of the character, like if Eggman's angry, serious, just being goofy and funny. That's one thing I love about your voice for Eggman, is it shows all aspects of like his personality, and it just makes the character lively.
And
Thank
see
you.
that
I
kind of
enjoy
thing- You also see that kind of thing in Sonic Lost World, how Eggman gets very
Right.
angry at the Deadly Six.
Oh, that was my favorite part, yeah.
It's all about lifting the words off the page and figuring out the intention behind it and just making it fun to listen to. So, thank you.
Right.
No problem.
I actually was going to ask this question. Our friend AG says, if you could voice any other Sonic character other than Eggman, pick.
Well, I have. Sonic X, Ella the Maid, was me.
That's still
Uh,
insane.
in-
That is still
In
insane.
Sonic Boom, I was the mayor, who was unnamed in the game, in the show, but Mayor Fink in the games. And I was Fastidious Beaver.
Yep.
So I
Nice.
will voice whatever character they would like me to. I'm not going to guess the ones that I can do. I will let the folks in the charge of casting say, here, try this.
Absolutely.
I see.
It's still amazing how
This is actually-
talented you are, man.
That's what I do.
Definitely.
Little parlor trick. Thank you.
True Blue Star says, I've always thought about trying voice acting someday whenever I get the chance to. Got any tips, Mike?
Sure. There's a couple sites that I recommend, which I'm now going to pull up from my phone so I don't misattribute them. Hang on, it's over here. One of them from memory is I want to be a voiceactor.com. Yes, I want to be a voiceactor.com and getstartedinvo.com. Both of those all one word. Sit down and read. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to know. When you finally find your way into a booth, leave your inhibitions at the door and don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself, because that's what they're paying you for. So
Alright.
go big or go home.
Alright.
Yes.
Ooh, and
Very good
my
advice.
good friend Speedy Blue asks, what was your first job for voice acting?
It depends on what you're going to count as my first job in voice acting. I count all my radio stuff.
Right.
The first time I heard myself on the radio, well, I didn't hear myself on the radio because I was doing it.
Right.
But the first time I got to open a microphone in a radio station, I'm going to count that as my first voice role. You can also count the first time I did a commercial that ran on a different radio station than the one I was working on, because that's the first time I got paid a small talent fee for recording a character voice, which was pretty cool. The first standalone video production, if you want to go digging through the internet, you can still find Little Tug's Big Adventure, in which I played all the male voices, and I was going to play the female voices, but they decided they didn't like that idea. But I played most of the female voices.
Ella from Sonic X. It still surprised me when I found out your voice.
Yeah, the standards were different, but thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And then the first actual anime role, which was started the whole rolling of this animation-based career, would be Demon Fighter Kocho, in which I played Professor Kamo.
Demon Fighter Kocho. Why does that sound familiar?
You might have seen it accidentally.
I think so.
I
Alright.
know that tugboat, that one was actually a part of my childhood, believe it or not.
Excellent. Yeah, I've heard that people have actually seen that.
Alright.
So that was me.
Ooh, here's an interesting question in regards to the Sonic movie. What did you think of Jim Carrey's acting as Dr. Eggman?
I've not seen the film because I already know I wasn't in it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I admire your honesty, Mike.
Agreed.
Right.
Presumably, if he got the role, somebody wanted him to have it because they thought he was good. So that's good enough for me.
Alright.
That's how casting works.
True.
Princess AG asks something that's actually an interesting one. Is Ella from Sonic X the only female character you voiced?
No. Following the untimely passing of the lovely and talented Maddie Blaustein, I played Helga. Helga in Dinosaur King for the last few episodes. Covered that role.
Ooh. That one I haven't heard of. I'll have to check that out.
I've seen it, and I did not know you played her.
Just for the last few episodes.
Alright.
That was
I
a
see.
nice little thing. I could little tribute, little bonus thing.
Alright.
Respect.
Ooh, here's a question. I don't know if it's been asked yet. To Mike Pollock, what do you think of Jim Carrey as Eggman?
Wait, we did already ask that one. We did already ask that one.
Sounds a bit familiar.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'm back a little bit in the chat.
That's why I have slow mode on, so that way it'll be easier to keep up with it.
Right.
Alright. Ooh, into Mike from Sunswood, have you ever done a drunk character?
Yes, I have, and I'm trying to remember if I can remember specifically what that was for. Well, in Viva Pinata, there was Langston got into some type of it couldn't have been actually alcohol, but something that made him get a little drunk around a campfire. So he was, "Yes, I should sing a song about baseball." It's just weird.
Wow.
There would have been more, but I can't recall them.
Alright. Oh, here's the interesting question. Like, it gets in regard to how, like, you were having a raspy voice, and, like, having to go to a voice doctor. Someone asked to Mike, how come you haven't lost your voice yet? Have you ever had a time where you weren't able to actually voice any of the characters?
In Sonic X, there was a period of 2 months or so of recording where I was battling laryngitis, like I almost am now. Pardon me, I'm going to cough.
You're good.
Thank you, I'm muted. Thank you very much. And because I had laryngitis before, I figured, oh, this will clear up in a week or two. Well, after about the second month, I decided I should see a doctor. And I found a local ear, nose, throat guy who gave me the magic of steroid tablets. And I popped one the first dose, and within a matter of minutes, my voice started to return, and I was amazed. And I said, where have these been all my life? So after that, things got better, but now I've learned to keep the doctor on speed dial, and when there's a problem, call and get that fixed as soon as possible.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because if I recall, Jason Griffith, I believe I remember this. He said in an interview that when he was doing Sonic Unleashed, doing the werehog was very tough on him because he was suffering with a sore throat at the time. At least that's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that he almost fainted with when he recorded that famous scream, which is something. But something that's interesting to me. I respect the dedication for sure.
Right.
It's a delicate, it's a delicate balance because the common wisdom is the show must go on, but the other common wisdom is don't book sick. So don't show up if you're sick, but the show's got to go on and you want to get your job done. So it's a fine line. So if I'm still functional and the stuff can be edited so that all the coughs get removed, I'll show up and record. And if the client is happy, then that makes the final cut.
There you go.
I see.
Alright. Let's see. Alright, here's an interesting question from True Blue. He asks, who is your favorite Sonic character besides Eggman?
Again, I don't like to play favorites because why judge, and you don't want to leave anyone out. But during Sonic X, I was amazed at the ability of Broadway and television's Andrew Reynolds to do the voice of Bo Koon, because he did that all by himself with no electronic processing.
With no filter at all.
No, that was just, he could do that.
Yeah.
And that was that's a funny voice, and you can do that. That's incredible.
Okay.
He does it phenomenally, too.
Exactly. Alright. Here was a question from, let's see. I think it was, I lost that question. Okay, there we go. From Muhammad. Yes, what do you like about Eggman's character, since you are voicing him over 2 decades?
It's very cathartic. If I'm having a bad day and I get to go in and yell my brains out and yell at pesky hedgehogs, you feel a lot better when you're done.
Wow, so it's pretty much a stress reliever for you right there.
Absolutely.
Nice. Alright, let's see. What was your first thoughts when you were asked to voice Dr. Eggman? How did you feel?
Just like when I book any role, no matter what it is, whether it's a wacky cartoon or a boring commercial, hey, somebody picked me out of a crowded field to do this gig. That's pretty cool. So I was as stoked as I am whenever I get the call saying they want to book you. Yay! Yay me! That's the whole point of this exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm kidding.
Alright. Let's see. Okay, here's one from Ahmed again. What was your favorite moments as Dr. Eggman?
The wacky, kooky comedy, always because I love to laugh, but also the moments that I get to switch it up and go full drama, like in that bit in Sonic X. So, but the best part is that they keep asking me to come back.
Nice.
That's great.
They're for good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, now that I think about it, here's something that had me wondering, how hard was it to actually voice Ella and Eggman when they were in the same scene?
Most of the time it's a two-part question. When we were dubbing Sonic X, they would have me do all of the Eggman lines and then all of the Ella lines, or vice versa, Ella first and Eggman. But for Sonic Boom, when we were recording live and it was prelay and they were going to animate later, if I had 2 characters in a scene, they wanted it. Hi again. They wanted it live, so I would just bounce from character voice to character voice in real time, and they seemed to like that.
Now that takes talent right there, true talent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The trick is not to let them see you sweat, and I don't think I did.
Nice.
It's a new tell, so it sure, I think you did a great job.
Thank you. They probably play around with the timing with a little editing afterwards, but the back and forth, all me.
Yeah. And so Arcbox actually, I mean, they technically asked this question, but it was a little more broader. But regarding your favorite moments voicing Eggman, is there one in particular that stands out to you?
Like
Just,
from any
just
of
that,
the, not just Sonic X, like from any of the games or
yeah, just in general.
yeah.
Well, the tricky part is, unlike with stage and on-camera acting, there's no memorization. So I'm not focused on remembering the moments or the dialogue because I've got a script in front of me and I'm jumping from line to line. So I don't have those type of specific memories. If you play something back to me, I'll say, oh, I remember that. This was this. But I don't retain the moments in that same way as an on-camera or stage performance would.
So I'm as a voice actor, I feel that same way. So appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. One of the joys of voiceover is there is no line memorization, there's no makeup, there's no blocking, there's no hours of rehearsal. It's just it's pure acting. It's a script I can just read aloud. It's reader's theater, but it's reader's theater for professional purposes.
Absolutely.
Nice. Few words right there. Alright, let's see. From Starlight on Sonic X, how do you feel for the first time you voiced behind Dr. Eggman?
It was the challenge of figuring out how the character interacts with the rest of the show. They gave me the voice to do, they gave me some background, and I was just making sure, is this what you want? Like this? Is this good? This here? This right here? And then they seemed to like it.
Nice.
And this question can kind of follow up on that. From our friend Dimensional Alex, here's a question. When you hear your Eggman voice in the Sonic games, what are your thoughts on hearing your Eggman voice in the games compared to recording the lines?
I make sure that what I was doing fit the moment, which it did. The games and the shows are different yet similar. They're both the same character, but the intention of the games, the intention of the shows are different. When I'm recording, I'm very much focused on, am I giving the director and the producer and the rest of the team what they want? And they'll tell me instantly. They'll say, okay, that's good, let's go on to the next line, or let's try that again 2 or 3 times. But generally, I can't leave until they're happy. So if they've let me go home, I've done what they wanted me to do. And I'm not about to second guess it, but I will listen back, and I'm usually pleased.
Alright.
Alright.
Here's an interesting question. Someone asked, out of all of the Sonic VAs, which one did you enjoy working with the most?
Trick question on a couple of levels. Since I didn't work directly with Jason because it was a dub, I can't really answer that. I worked with him in person on a couple of other projects. Right. And there's Roger, and Roger I may or may not be working with directly. But also, I don't judge my colleagues. We as actors are judged all the time. We're judged at auditions, we're judged when we're being directed, we're judged by the audiences, we're judged by the critics. So I don't judge my colleagues because we're judged enough.
Right. You have enough of that already.
Amen to that.
I love working with talented people. I love watching talented people do what they do. And I'm delighted I get to be a part of it as well.
Absolutely.
Glad to hear.
Hey, that's great. Let's see. Ooh, here's a question that I could definitely, I would like to know. How do you keep your composure and not laugh when you say something funny when recording? But I would add on, also when you're trying to do something serious and, like, let's say, I don't know, something's happening that might distract you and want to make you laugh, you know. Do you ever accidentally want to break composure at all?
Always. But fortunately, it's not live. It's all recorded, and we get multiple takes. So, yes, I will laugh at something funny, either intentionally or unintentionally, and appropriately or not appropriately. And I will enjoy the moment because I love what I do, as I've said, but I will then say, let's try that again. And basically, you do it till you get it right. And all the flubs get, if you're lucky, land on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, and also Princess AG's asked another good question right here. Have you ever got to meet any of the Spanish voice actors that do the other, I'm presuming they mean the other dubs, like Spanish, French, the original, Japanese, etc.?
I had a chat, Roger and I had a chat with the Spanish voice of Sonic on Twitter once, but nobody in person, no.
Gotcha.
I'm still amazed to this day how like the original Japanese voice actors for the Sonic characters still got it even after so many years.
Oh yeah. It's a different culture over there. They keep their people for as long as possible. I've noticed.
All right. Let's see. Here's a question from True Blue Star. Here's another question for you. Were there any blooper moments you have while doing Eggman lines?
Tons, but again, they're not. I don't get to keep them. They keep them, and they choose to do anything with them or nothing with them. And in most cases, they don't keep the bloopers for public consumption. I have some bloopers for some of the stuff that I recorded from home. Maybe I'll do something with them if they let me, but probably not.
Right.
Yeah. I wish they would. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be awesome.
I'd love to see many of your favorite moments in there.
Yeah, but they technically all the content belongs to Sega or whoever I'm recording for, so I can't just publicize it myself without at least checking with somebody.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We want you to keep your job, Mike. Absolutely.
Right.
Nobody would want to
much.
Yeah. Here's two interesting questions. One, well, actually, that wasn't a question. It was more like he was saying he always, from Movie Sonic, he said, Mike, I always thought your Eggman voice was your normal voice.
No, it's one of the dozens of characters I do.
Right. And here's the question from Muhammad. Did you have any favorite moments as Eggman in Sonic Boom?
Showing up and starting the record. It was a highlight of the week. We'd record 4 hours every other Tuesday, generally, and that was definitely a highlight of the week because I knew fun was going to be had by all.
Well, you know what infinite is? Fun is infinite. Oh wait, that's Majin Sonic. Ah! I gotta do something.
Yeah. But man, it's really a delight to see just how much you really enjoy your job,
Exactly.
And even just showing up to record is like one of the highlights, that's just wow,
The work
it's
part
nice
of
when you do
being
a job that you enjoy.
Thank you. The work part of being an actor is the looking for work. I am auditioning constantly. My week is filled with auditions. Most of them go nowhere. That's the work because you're basically working for free for a few minutes, then getting rejected. That's the work. It's when you book a role and finally somebody says, yeah, we want that. Come on over. And that's the joy. That's the fun. That's the play. And that's when you get paid. So even better with that. That is the fun part of the job.
Alright.
The voice actor in me was low key thinking, preach. I can't read you saying that. So yeah.
Here's an interesting question. Did you ever have a moment where somebody would recognize you out in public?
Very rarely. I've been a couple of times at GameStops because who's in GameStop? Gamers. And I happened to be there with my kids, and at least one person's come up and said, "Do I know you?" I said, "Yeah, you do. Hi, how are you?" And once at airport security, because I travel with a heavy-duty Pelican hard case with a microphone in it, which tends to get you stopped at security, and my name came up in conversation, and the security guy knew me. So cool. He still had to look at the X-ray and make sure there was nothing dangerous in there, but that was a fun moment.
All right, let's see. Do you do the recording? EDS, do you record from home now, especially with what?
Almost exclusively. There are a couple of games, non-Sonic games, that have insisted on recording in person, and that's all full of various sanitation protocols and prearranged authorizations and health checks and stuff, and a couple of live-action dubs, same deal. But most places have learned to do this remotely, which I prefer.
All right.
I see.
Ooh, Emily asks, who are your favorite Eggman minions that Eggman has had throughout the Sonic series?
The answer, I guess, would change at the moment. It's whoever I happen to be working with at the moment. So whatever script and whatever minion is in the script, that would be my favorite.
Alright. Okay, let's see. Ooh, was there a favorite Sonic game you ever voiced in? Like, which one did you enjoy voicing in?
I love working, so the fact that I get to voice in any of them, that's my favorite game. The favorite one will always be the next one.
That is true. Especially with the Frontiers coming out. Yeah, you'll definitely be having fun with that one.
Right.
Alright.
Ooh, I see a very good question here from Shay Keener to Mike. When you were a kid, what did you think you would do in the future?
I kind of hoped I'd be an actor. I kind of hoped I'd be on the radio. And I guess I achieved both of those goals at various times in my life.
I think you had that always in mind since you were a kid. Nice.
Yeah.
You predicted your own future right there.
As a kid, before the advent of video recording, there were children's records. Cartoon studios would release vinyl, long-playing albums of either soundtracks of existing cartoons or stories based on those cartoons. They would have the original actors from the original voices, and I had a bunch of those, and I would just sit and listen to those all day and try and figure out what they were doing, how they were doing it, and that's kind of what I'm doing now, I guess.
Nice.
Hey.
Alright. Ooh. Have you ever used your Eggman voice in front of your kids?
Unintentionally, because basically me yelling is me yelling, so if I yell at the kids, you'll probably hear some Dr. Eggman in that. The one moment I used it in public early on, just to see what would happen, we were at a local state fair type of arrangement, and we had paused for some refreshing cold beverages, and some kid walked by with a giant life-size Sonic plush on his shoulders that he had obviously just won, and I put down my drink, and from a distance yelled, "Look, it's Sonic!" And just to see his head whip around and see where that was coming from, and I just went casually back to my drink. Don't look at me.
I remember you told the story in a past interview. It was so funny.
Oh man, that was probably his day.
Aside from not being casted into the Sonic movie, do you have any thoughts on it, like the sequel?
I hope it does well, just like I hope that everything my clients do goes well.
Right.
But it's out of my hands, at least at the moment.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Do you do voice coaching from time to time?
I worked for a coach once, didn't care for it, so no, not really. I'll offer occasional bits of advice, but coaching is a very specialized skill with a very specialized degree of patience, and I don't have that.
Alright.
That makes sense.
Let's see. Oh wait. I already answered that one, Mohammed. Let's see. Okay, here's a question from True Blue Star. Since you voice Eggman, who made robots made to destroy in Sonic? Okay, let me just read the actual question. My question is, which of Eggman's robots do you like the most?
Again, I tend not to play favorites. People work really hard creating robots, and I'm not going to pick one over the other because they're all fantastic.
True.
Yeah, honest, when you think about it, Eggman, like with the current Eggman, like he's only had two robot companions, four, counting Bokun. Not Bokun. Bokun. I forgot their names. The Sonic X robots, and then you got Orbot and
Deco
Cubot.
and Boko.
Yeah.
Deco and Boko and Sonic X, and Orbot and Cubot and Sonic Boom, and various other related properties.
Exactly.
Alright.
Yes, please no asking about anything about Sonic Prime or Frontiers. I want to keep that as a spoiler. Not a spoiler. Secret till the game comes out as well as the series comes out.
You'll find out when it's released.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's see. Ooh. Before being able to voice act as Dr. Eggman, did you have a favorite Sonic character as a kid?
No, because as a kid, I'm a lot older than Sonic. Sonic started in 2003. I was born in 1965. So by 2003, I was past the target audience of Sonic as far as watching and playing.
Yeah, I was
born 1 year before him.
I was born in 90. I was born in 94, so I think I'm a month and a half older than Sonic 3. I'm not younger than Sonic 3. If that means anything. But no. I think I would have been 9. I would have been 9 when you first voiced Eggman. Good lord.
Yeah, and I got the date wrong. 2003 was when I started. Sonic started in
1991.
91. I was still well out of college by then.
Right.
I graduated from college in 88, and I was not watching video games.
Okay.
I was very much not born. I'm kidding.
Alright. Ooh. Here's a crazy question from AD. Have you ever cosplayed as Dr. Eggman?
I haven't, mostly because if Sega wants me to and they want to provide all the materials and the costumes, I would. But again, it's the kind of thing where it would seem improper to highlight one role over all the others. Yes, he overshadows all the other work I do,
Right.
but I don't want to spotlight one client because then all the other clients are going to say, "Hey, what about our stuff?"
That is true.
Right.
And I've seen your work, and I've seen you on the Wonderama, how you voiced a lot of the other characters in there on live. Yeah, it'll be kind of sad right there for them.
Yeah, it's
Right.
again, everybody loves the show but forgets the business.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Alright. Ooh. Did you, like, I guess, did Nintendo ever try to have you voice a Mario character?
No, there was the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games crossovers, but that was all done from Sega's side.
Right.
But if they'd like to, I'm available.
Alright.
Nothing's stopping me.
Alright. Yeah, here's an interesting question that actually had me curious. Did you ever voice, just gonna call him Eggman in, because I'm pretty sure you can get where I'm going at with that. Have you ever voiced him? I'm just gonna type it in the group chat so that way, won't seem like I'm saying something else. Hang on.
You're typing. Typing very slowly and deliberately.
Discord,
Yeah.
ladies.
Yes, the negative version of Dr. Eggman. Yes, I have. In I forget if it was Sonic. I could look this up. I guess I'll do that. But yes, I have in one of the games or one of Sonic X episodes or something. I'm gonna look that up and tell you where.
I don't think he ever made an appearance in Sonic X. At least I don't think so.
Was he? I'm trying to remember what game.
I know
it
Sonic
like-
Rush and Sonic Rivals. He was definitely in that game.
Yeah, I definitely remember you being in Rivals. Well, in Sonic Rush, Sonic Rush, was the first appearance. Yeah, you did. You did amazing in that as usual.
Thank you. He was in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. He was in, and Sonic at the Olympic Games in 2020, which sounds like the same thing. I thought there was some before, but what do I know? I'm just this guy making noises. Yeah, it was in the Olympic Games appearances.
I
Yeah.
see.
Ooh. Here's a good question from Mohammed, bringing up the Twitter takeover. Did you have any favorite moments in that event?
Just the entire events are fun. The first few, again, were done in LA, so I got to fly out and hang out with the gang and watch the magic happen in real time. The most recent one, all done remotely. We were together in real time, but we were all together in our respective homes. and just the way it comes together. And just if anyone is not aware, I make no secret of it, and I guess neither do they. It's all scripted. The questions are real. The questions come in from Twitter, but the fine folks in the Sega social media team are responsible for crafting the answers so that we can bring them to life. And just trying to figure out what the questions and answers mean, making sure we pronounce things properly, or if we can't pronounce something properly, make sure we have a fun time mispronouncing it. And just the live, real-time excitement, engagement of it all is fantastic.
Oh, I bet. And we're seeing how quick you guys have to kind of, get that script together and voice it. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
And the writing team does an amazing job on that as well, because it really makes up.
It is a carefully choreographed ballet.
All right.
Right.
So Maybella asks, will there be another Twitter takeover this year, or will it be like a couple of years before they do another one?
I am usually one of the last to know. I mean, I know a few weeks before you know, but the trend has been they happen around game releases or something like that. So one would think it would be possible, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it would, especially with Frontiers coming out. Yeah, you might be right about that.
We can only hope.
Right. AD asked an interesting question when it comes to playing Dr. Eggman. Since you played Eggman for so long, do you think you could do good improv of Eggman, or do you prefer to work with a script?
That's a fantastic question. I have done some in the past and have not cared for it. I am capable of improving, but I prefer to improv not with someone's existing intellectual property.
Right.
If it's, you're a guy in a store, go. Okay, but not, you're this character in a store. Ugh. Mostly because the character isn't mine. I'm like the valet parking attendant at a restaurant. You hand your car over, and the valet parks it and brings it back. And you want him to bring it back without any dents and scratches, and you don't want him to take it out on a joyride. So I much prefer when Sega provides a script, or if they're going to have improv, make sure it is under tightly controlled conditions. When we were workshopping Sonic Boom, we read through the script, and then the production team said, okay, we're going to try an improv now. They didn't use that approach. It wasn't great. So it's the difference between role-playing, which is a fantastic and fun thing to do as a hobby, but acting, from all the time I've been acting, an author, a playwright writes a script, and the actors perform it and make minor changes, if any. But somebody liked the script enough to publish it. Let's honor the script and do it as scripted.
I know in my case, I definitely feel it's kind of a mixture. I feel like it's kind of a mixture of two for me. Like, I definitely prefer doing the script, prefer scripting, but if it's ever possible to ad-lib something in there every so often, I feel like it'll work. That's also nice as well, but definitely the script makes it easier.
Yeah, I'll throw in ad-libs in the script if something occurs to me, but I'm not going to say it. Many fans have invited me, and invite is possibly the wrong term, have strongly suggested, can I talk to you as Dr. Eggman? No. Yeah. It's much better when it's scripted.
Yeah, when I approached you, I didn't just talk to you casually.
It's the parallel that I like to draw is it's the costumed mascot at the themed park. Right. When somebody's dressed up in the fursuit, for lack of a better term, you interact with them as the character. They go backstage, they take the suit off. They're not really the character anymore.
Right.
Right.
The suit is lying in a pile on the floor. It's time to be off stage.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's one thing I like about doing these kind of interviews is that you don't have to be in the character. You can just be yourself because we're trying to get to know you as the person rather than the character. You know what I mean?
Sure. I'll give you samples of character, but I'm not here as the character.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my driver's license says Mike on it.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why we make sure that let the viewers know to not ask for any voice impressions or anything.
And even when we're recording, there are occasional times where the director will playfully address us as our characters, but usually, especially before and after the sessions are happening, we're ourselves and we're addressed by our own name.
Right.
I've read the fans and gamers thing on your website front to back, so I'll already right off the bat I'll be like, hey, don't ask for no Eggman impressions.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, it's even you go to Starbucks and see your favorite barista. Yes, I do, and yes, I have. But if you see them out of uniform on the street, don't try and talk coffee. They're off the clock. Be a human.
All right. Someone asked a very interesting question. Like, was there anyone that inspired you to make the Eggman voice that you do now?
Again, it was based on recordings of Dean Bristow that they sent me, and then with a little bit of Jiminy Glick's I have that backwards. Martin Short's Jiminy Glick mixed in.
All right. Sonic Kid, please do not ask for impressions.
You want impressions? Hello, I'm Ronald Reagan. Thank you. That's an impression.
There you go.
That's actually a solid Ronald Reagan by my
mind. I'm confident, but thank you.
All right. Have you read any of the Sonic comics? And what are your thoughts on it?
I've read them, and I realize that I don't like reading Sonic stuff for pleasure if I'm not performing it. It's fantastic. It doesn't hold my interest, because performing holds my interest. Reading, not so much.
Yeah, it's better to actually perform as the character than having to read it.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel that.
Alright.
Blazing.
Good.
Sorry.
Yeah, good.
Sorry for interrupting. I was just going to mention, Blazing Andy 18 just asked a nice one here. So, Mike, what's it like working alongside with Roger? I'm presuming they mean Roger Kirk Smith.
Yeah, like when you're actually being there in person with him.
Yeah.
We love to make each other laugh. It's sometimes a challenge, but when one of the things as a performer is you want an audience reaction. So even if it's from the people you're working with, if people are genuinely laughing, you're doing a good job. And if they're making you laugh, they are doing a good job. So again, I love to watch talented people do what they do. I love to be able to do it with them. So it is tons of fun to work ensemble style like that, whether it's in person or remote.
Yes.
Well, I'm quite capable of recording separately for a dub or anything else that I'm doing, most of which is recorded separately. But ensemble is always as an extra element of magic.
Absolutely. And that actually ties nicely into another question I saw earlier, I actually forgot to mention. From Princess AG, you voice act in fan projects, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you voice Eggman? I think they are mentioning specifically
about Sonic and Tails are
with Emmy Jones. Actually, I'll add to that question. What's that like? How did you feel like doing that with them? Because Sonic and Tails on it was definitely like an interesting.
Especially with having to having the be with, I think it was Jason Griffith voicing Sonic again for that one.
Yeah. Again, all recording separately, so it was just me and the director, and then everything else was pieced together later. It was a fun thing to do as a little treat during lockdown, but it has also reminded me that it's really better to work officially when there are various safety protocols in place, so I'm not screaming my brains out.
Right.
Without the proper care and compensation, and just making sure that the intellectual property is being overseen by the people in charge. So I don't expect to be dealing in fan projects in the future, because it's a weird gray area, and it's a dangerous precedent that it becomes less comfortable the more it goes. So yeah, I'm going to stick with official stuff.
It is interesting. It is interesting you were able to get that gig. That was definitely kind of a surreal thing for me personally.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad folks enjoyed it, but it was a dangerous precipice on which to dangle.
Right.
And
because
so
I mentioned it earlier about like doing like the characters outside of Sega.
Yeah, and even now as I'm working with some indie productions, which are completely original characters, the indie productions are not as experienced as a professional production would be, and there are moments of, this is weird. Do I speak up and say, that's not the way this should be done, or what do I do?
Right.
So yeah, I try to deal with established producers going through my various agents and managers.
Alright.
I see.
Okay.
Also,
It's this one from Sunswood. Funny question: have you ever had your voice ever cracked in the middle of a recording session?
Oh yeah, that's why we have the magic of the delete button and the undo feature. Yeah, sometimes it takes 3 or 4 takes to get a particularly challenging line, and one of the things we get to do is we can do it till we get it right.
Right.
And if we can't do it, then they'll make certain adjustments. But oh yeah, the longer a session goes with the screaming, the harder it is to do, for example, the girly scream that some people have come to like, because the high end doesn't work as well anymore. So get all the stuff done first, and then scream your brains out.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Also, I did lose connection for a moment, so I don't know if this question was asked. To Mike, what was your favorite moments from your childhood?
Getting to do school plays. I was involved in some school theater things, some community theater things, some theater workshops, and I got to really learn about acting from the ground up, from my childhood up. So those were great. Just getting to do my first stage performance in 3rd grade in a Roman Greek stupid pageant thing, wearing a bedsheet as a toga, and that's when I caught the theater bug. And whenever there was an opportunity to perform, I would always raise my hand, and I got to do lots of stuff.
Nice.
Oh,
Alright.
that's pretty cool.
Alright. Let's see. Yeah, here's an interesting what if. If you could ever meet the characters you voice in real life, like Eggman, for example, what would your interaction with said character be like?
I tend not to blur the lines of fact and fiction that way, because part of my experience as an actor is I am lifting fictitious words off the page and creating the fiction. Right. So I avoid those types of thought experiments, because fiction is fiction.
Fair enough.
Fair point.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ooh. There was 2 interesting questions. I'll read this one from Movie Sonic, and then I'll read the other one. Were you nervous on your first voice acting job?
No, because at that point I'd already been on the radio for a while, and I'm trying to remember if I was nervous when I was first starting on the radio, and maybe for a second, but no, the nerves have never been a thing. I was more nervous going to a new dentist once than I was ever performing, because I'm a natural performer. I trust in my abilities, and if something doesn't go well, something doesn't go well. I'll deal with that. But no, I love performing too much to be nervous and have stage fright.
Nice.
That's pretty inspirational, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. One of my friends is actually this interview is making them more determined to always ensure on their own work as a professional.
Excellent.
Yep.
I knew exactly where you're going with it, and I honestly agree with them. I feel you so much about it.
Yeah, let's see. Ooh. Have you ever gotten starstruck when you met other voice actors, any in particular? And we can say, like, not just with, like, Sonic, but, like, some of the other shows you've been on as a voice actor.
Ever so slightly, I believe, as I recall, meeting Dan Green for the first time for Yu-Gi-Oh! Only because his reputation preceded him. But I wasn't starstruck in that I was a huge Dan Green fan. I was a huge... I was hello, that's not a word. I admired his talent, and I admired his popularity. So to meet him, say, "Oh, you're Dan Yeah, great, that's so cool. Hi, how are you? But no, there was no. I don't get starstruck like that. I aspire to work with the top professionals in my field, so every opportunity to do that is kind of a bit of validation of, hey, I'm doing this part right. That's okay. But no, I don't get starstruck in that way. The first meeting of the LA crew actually was rather auspicious in that I was flown out to LA, as I mentioned, and we were all going to meet for Sonic Boom. There was supposed to be a dinner beforehand, and my flight was late, and then the Uber that I had to take to get to the restaurant was late because I wanted to stop at the hotel and freshen up, which was the wrong choice because I didn't look at the map to see where the airport and the restaurant and the hotel were and travel in a straight line, which was kind of dopey on my part. So I got there late, so it was hey, Mike's here, Mike's late, but then they were already done with their introductions and they're chatting, and then I left with the people I already knew and didn't get to interact with the other castmates until the following day when we all showed up at the studio and just sat quietly in the green room talking to our phones because we weren't sure who everyone was. We got over that real quick, though. Oh, you must be Roger. You're Mike. Hey, hi, good to see you. Great. But it was weird. Nobody was saying, hi, everyone. This is Mike. This is Roger. It was fun.
Nice.
Ironically, I actually remember a couple of years ago I got a coaching session with Dan Green. That was fun. This is like 2 years ago. I unfortunately didn't have a chance to follow up just because I was kind of running low on money. But it was a great experience. It was a great experience. I mean, I guess I was kind of starstruck, but I didn't show it. But I was mostly just because I grew up with it,
Dan has directed me in a couple of things, and he is a joy to work with when he's directing because he is an actor's director, just like Jack Fletcher, our Sonic director. He knows how to work with actors. He has been an actor, and it is just a joy to give him the performance that he wants.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
If I had the money, I would definitely be having more sessions with him for sure.
Right.
I recommend
That's an
it.
interesting question, especially when it came to having to do when you voice actor Eggman bringing up the whole Eggman land. Speedy Blue asks, how would you feel if they made a Sonic theme park and they made Eggman land area for rides?
They kind of already did in Dubai at the theme park whose name I should remember. There was a Sonic Spin Dash ride. Jason and I actually did the voice track for it.
Oh,
And
now I want to go to Dubai.
you can't because they closed it down. But if you look on YouTube, there is at least a couple of videos where you can hear us in the background welcoming you to the ride and reminding you to keep your hands and arms and legs inside the ride at all times.
Oh, I checked that out.
I was not given the opportunity to go to Dubai to try it, but that was as close as it was. But yes, if there was a theme park, that would be awesome. I would even consider, if they asked me to cosplay for a special occasion and wander the park doing bits, I would consider that.
Nice.
Nice.
Ooh, do you have any favorite memories from your voice acting career?
The very first bookings that I got, the very first commercial booking, for example, I was about as sick as I am now.
Right.
Again, the common logic of don't book sick. It was my first big booking and my first big commercial, and I was sick as a dog, so I showed up with all sorts of tea bags and decongestants, and fortunately the character was over the top enough that I could just overact my way past the illness. And that was still a thrill. It was for a local tri-state area gift box company called Capalbo's Gift Boxes. And although I did their commercial, and they wouldn't know me from anyone, I still, we gave some of our friends Capalbo's Gift Boxes that year for gifts.
All right.
That was a thrill. The very first booking. Yeah, I got something here. Let's do this again.
All right. Also, here's an interesting question. I don't know if that was the one you were going to read as well, Sarah.
Is it from AG?
Yeah.
All right, you can go ahead.
She asked, did you ever get emotional when it came to recording?
I got emotional when the first season of Sonic Boom wrapped, and we weren't sure if there'd be a second one. We were again recording ensemble remotely. So they were in LA, I was in New York, I was patched in on the internet, and so they were having a rap party, but they couldn't have a rap party all together because I wasn't there. But they sent champagne to the studio, and we had a nice little emotional farewell for the first season, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
Sounds pretty nice.
Alright.
The question that I had seen from AG, she said, what's the longest recording session you've had?
The longest marathon session was a couple of audiobooks that I did. Audiobooks are, they're the epitome of you do it till you get it right. You record the book for however long it takes you to record, but you're only paid per finished hour. So once the book is all edited, no matter whether it took you 15 hours to record, if it's a 2.5 hour book when it's done, that's what you're paid for. And that just dragged on. It didn't help that the 2 books I got were boring and dry and barely held my attention. But by the end of those days, I was like, what time is it? Do we get to leave now? What is it? And then the longest... I had it wasn't on camera, but it was a bunch of actors portraying the voices of various office equipment, and it was a full day booking at a place that wasn't really set up to record voiceover. It was very bizarre, but they had us recording as though we were live and on camera, but we weren't. We were just in a room recording these roles, and that just dragged on for 8 hours longer than it needed to run. It was an 8-hour session that could have been done in maybe 2 or 3.
Oof, that sounds rough.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing scrubbed. We got our money, but it never saw the light of day.
Right.
Which also happens.
Here's
I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, I think it was one of the questions I was about to ask. You were probably about to ask the same one. Question asks, have you achieved all of your goals, and if you had any set for your career in entertainment and voicing?
Well, I'd like to be in something big and theatrical. I've been in some small-scale theatrical releases, but I'd like to be in something big, nationwide theatrical would be a fantastic thing. And having started on stage, I wouldn't mind doing the occasional on-camera thing should someone ask me to. I'm not pursuing on-camera at the moment, but if somebody said, we really want you to be in this TV show or this film, I wouldn't say no. I'd say, well, let me try and see if you agree. See how you feel after I do a screen test. But the goal is the constant search for auditions and bookings. So I don't keep my eye on specific goals. It's always, how did this audition go? Did somebody like that? Nobody like that? Okay. Oh, they like this one. Let's do this thing. Cool.
Alright. Ooh. Here's an interesting question, if this actually ever happened to you once. Did you ever rage because you couldn't get a line right?
Sure. Part of the thing, again, because we're not recording live, we're recording for recording. I can have all sorts of flameouts depending on whether they're fun and good-natured and full of humor or full of obscenity, which is becoming more frequent these days than it used to with the stress of the lockdown and all. Right. But yeah, it's frustrating, especially when the brain does not want to form the words that are on the page. So I will, at least for my own amusement and preferably for the amusement of those around me, those that are recording me, I will own my screw-ups.
Alright. Here's an interesting question in regards to some of the older Eggman voice actors, or Robotnik. What did you think of Jim Cummings' take on Robotnik's voice?
Again, I don't judge my colleagues. The people that I've been voicing the character got through some challenging audition process just like I did, and somebody decided that I like them. So if they book the role, it means somebody thinks they're doing something right.
Did you ever actually get to meet Jim Cummings?
No, not yet.
Oof.
It would be fun, but although we have something in common, we don't really have much in common. But I'd see how that goes.
That's a good way to put it.
Yep. Alright, let's see. From Blazing Andy to Mike, playing as Eggman for as long as you have, what do you love the most when playing the character?
When the people listening really laugh at a line read, or really appreciate a line read, or if I do a line read and I surprise myself, said, "Oh, that was good, wasn't it?"
Yeah, that was the entire thing of how you were able to portray him so well and everything.
It's the whole. I do most of this with very limited rehearsal, if any. So it's all cold reading. It's all, what's the next line? Oh, let me see. Is this how you want it? Hey, that sounded good. So the fact that I can deliver a decent line reading with zero preparation continues to impress me.
All right. We'll read off a few more questions, and then I'm going to end it there.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right. Here's one from True Blue Star. He has, Mike, do you have any retirement plans? Have you ever planned on retiring from voice acting?
I am, as all actors, I am an independent contractor. I'm a freelancer. I will work as long as I can and as long as someone is willing to hire me.
All right.
It's not like a salary 9-to-5 career. I'm a small business person. I have my own small business. I am going out and looking for work all the time, sometimes getting the work. So I can't imagine retiring because I still love what I do and I still can do it.
All right. Okay, let's see. Here's one from Steve the Cat. He asks, what is your absolute favorite Eggman line? The one that you enjoyed doing the most?
Choosing favorites always a challenge. I'm trying to. There were moments in Sonic Boom that made me laugh hysterically, and if I could put my finger on one of them, I would. But there's just the way it was written, and it was written with me in mind more so than any other production. And they let me really play to my strengths. So just any episode of Sonic Boom, I will do something that makes you laugh, and that makes me happy.
All right. Two
more. I see.
Go ahead.
From
Oh, good.
sorry about that. Since you have mentioned doing plays before, she asked, you clearly love plays. Got any favorites? Do you like musical plays?
Yes, I'm very proud of my performance twice, 2 different productions, of Bud Frump in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. He is the nephew of the boss in a company he's obviously been hired because he's the nephew of the boss, and he just tries to ruin the plans of the protagonist who wants to rise to the top of his career, and Bud will stop him at every turn. And in fact, Bud ends up being stopped at every turn. That was great fun to play, and I got to play it in 2 different productions, which made me really happy.
Nice. All right. Here's a question from Alex. Then the last one will be Cashlin's. Alex asks, since you voiced Eggman for so long, can you ever relate to Eggman's personality?
We both get frustrated. I am frustrated as a human adult dealing with customer service that doesn't always go my way, or technology that doesn't always go my way. So, fortunately, all of my life isn't being recorded because there are some embarrassing moments of freaking out at technology and at incompetent customer service personnel. Let us say that.
Oh, trust me, I know the feeling. I work at a grocery store, so I know the feeling.
I've experienced stuff here and there.
I'm moving on as a DoorDash driver, so I definitely feel that as well.
All right. Now for the last question from Cashlin, she asks, do you set your limits on hours per day you'll work? Like 9 to 5 hours, or you're pretty much flexible 7 days a week up to an extent?
It depends. As an independent contractor, the concept is you're supposed to be able to set your own hours. Obviously, within reason, I have to find an agreeable time of if the studio is recording between 9 and 5. When are you available between 9 and 5? Right. Or if they're doing evening hours. I prefer to work 9 to 5. I like to pretend I have a normal full-time job.
Right.
But for some of my old legacy clients who've helped me up along the way. If they want to do something in the evening, sure. So I'll do something at 8 or 9 o'clock. Don't prefer it. Weekends, the same, even less. If you really need me on a weekend, I can be available. But because this is my day job, I'm not restricted to after school time and after work time. This is the work, so I'd much prefer performing normal business hours. And sessions are generally in the professional world limited to 4 hours at a time, because if you're going to be screaming your brains out, 4 hours is a good limit. But for some things, I was doing a children's show dub the other day where, because of various vacations and illnesses, we were backlogged, so I had to do a 6-hour session. It was a challenge in maintaining both focus and vocal quality, but I understood you've got a deadline. I want to help you meet your deadline, so sure, I'll make myself available. But if we need to stop, or take a break, we'll take a break, and I'll just make sure that we're keeping track of my hours, so I'm getting paid for all the time I'm supposed to be getting paid for.
Right. Alright. And that'll be all the questions for today. I hope you guys got to enjoy being able to ask your questions to Mike Pollock here. I know I definitely did.
Oh,
Thank you.
Absolute. This is like I said, I apologize for being weird, but this is like a dream come true for me, man. Even be in your presence.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
I hope I've informed and educated and entertained.
You did.
Excellent.
Thank you for being a guest on my channel and this episode.
Sure, thanks for listening and watching and all that stuff that I should be thanking you for.
No problem. Anyways,
Absolutely.
if you guys want to check out his work, his channel is down in the description below. Make sure you guys do check it out so you can see all of his amazing stuff.
Please, it's much better with an audience.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Look forward to the next episode. Can't say who might be my next guest. You'll just have to wait and see. Until then, see you later, future protectors of the chaos. Later.
See you.
Farewell.